Most people think they know how to fight a fire until they are faced with real flames. The wrong move can be dangerous or even deadly. In this video, we'll break down the safest way to tackle a fire. Hello and welcome back to My Safety Hub, your go-to source for all things health and safety. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to leave the video a like and to click that subscribe button. It really helps the channel a lot. Today we're tackling the SOP for firefighting in general. This SOP provides structured framework for trained personnel to conduct basic firefighting during emergencies, emphasizing safety and effective response. This SOP is available for download using the first link in the description below. Download it and follow along, or use it as reference for your own SOP. All SOPs start with a scope and purpose. The scope is that this SOP applies to all personnel trained in basic firefighting techniques who might be called upon to assist during a fire emergency, including employees, fire wardens, and other designated responders. And the primary purpose is to provide clear guidance for safe and effective firefighting while minimizing the risk of injuries or accidents. Next is Section 2, Authority and Responsibility. A designated authority or department such as the fire safety officer or emergency response team leader is responsible for enforcing this SOP and ensuring compliance with regulations. Management plays a vital role by providing resources, training, and establishing a fire emergency plan. They are also responsible for conducting drills and investigating incidents. All trained personnel are expected to follow the SOP guidelines, prioritizing safety and use fire equipment effectively. Let's move on to Section 3, the Risk Assessment Summary. This section identifies various hazards associated with basic firefighting. Behavioral risks include unauthorized firefighting attempts, horseplay, succumbing to emergency pressures, distractions, and lack of competence. Chemical hazards involve smoke and particle inhalation. Electrical hazards encompass contact with live electrical components or static discharge. Environmental hazards include noise, poor lighting, and ventilation issues. Ergonomic risks include adopting poor body position and overexertion while handling equipment. Physical risks encompass equipment failure, sharp edges or pinch points, falling objects, bumping or shoving, slip, trip, and falls. Thermal hazards relate to extreme heat, hot surfaces, gases and vapors, and extreme cold from some extinguishing agents. Each risk is assigned a level allowing for targeted mitigation. There are a total of 42 hazards listed in this SOP. But let's have a look at one of the highest risk ratings, which is a behavioral hazard in the form of attending to firefighting actions without authorization, which could lead to an incident or injury to themselves or others, resulting in possible penetration wounds, possible fractures, possible first, second, or third degree burn traumas, possible multiple fatality, and lastly, possible legal liability. Next is Section 4, the required PPE. Essential PPE for basic firefighting includes foot protection, hand protection, respiratory protection, and a hard hat. This equipment is crucial for minimizing exposure to various hazards. Then we have Section 5, our task description. This section details the firefighting procedures in 3 phases. Our pre-task checks in the form of assessing the situation, type and size of the fire, evacuation routes, people present. Raise the alarm, select the right fire extinguisher, inspect the fire extinguisher, and put on the appropriate PPE. Clearing the area around the fire, positioning oneself safely, alerting others, knowing personal limitations, checking smoke detectors, and maintaining mental composure are also critical. Our next phase is conducting the task. This involves assessing the fire, alerting and evacuating others, calling emergency services, selecting and using the fire extinguisher, using the pass method, pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep, using a fire hose reel, evacuating if necessary, maintaining a safe distance from the fire, checking for trapped and injured individuals, and communicating effectively with others. And lastly, our post-task checks. Ensure the fire is completely extinguished, ventilate the area, check for injuries, report the incident, inspect used fire extinguishers and fire hose if it was used, clean up the area, debrief with the team, practice self-care, review and update the SOP if necessary, and implement appropriate housekeeping procedures. Clearing the work area, waste disposal, cleaning of spills, inspecting and maintaining fire extinguishers, hoses, and hose reels, ensuring clear access to equipment, storing flammables safely, maintaining electrical safety, reporting hazards, ensuring proper signage and markings for fire safety equipment and exits, maintaining good lighting, keeping fire doors closed, ensuring orderly workspaces, storing flammable materials safely, and controlling combustible dust. Next we have section 6, our control measures. This section outlines the control measures designed to minimize the risks associated with firefighting. These can include engineering controls in the form of smoke control systems, proper ventilation, appropriate emergency lighting, and strategically located firefighting equipment, whether that be CO2 or DCP fire extinguishers, and fire hose reels. Isolation controls in the form of implementing barriers and covers for electrical equipment to minimize risks. Administrative controls, appointment of key personnel as the emergency evacuation floor marshal, fire equipment inspectors, and fire team members. Providing certifications and training, conducting regular inspections of fire extinguishers and other equipment, maintaining registers for emergency equipment, establishing safe operating procedures, including clear signage related to first aid, fire alarm pull stations, fire extinguishers, and assembly points. And lastly, we have our final section of this SOP. These final sections cover related documentations, the importance of reviewing and updating the SOP, mandatory training procedures for all relevant personnel, keeping record of incidents, tracking revisions to the document, and ensuring proper communication and understanding of this SOP. Basic firefighting skills can be invaluable in the initial stages of firefighting emergencies. This SOP provides crucial framework for the safe and effective response. By adhering to these guidelines, trained personnel can help protect lives and property while minimizing personal risk. Thank you for watching today's video. If you found today's video helpful, please leave it a like and share it with your colleagues. If you haven't already, please click that subscribe button as to never miss another My Safety Hub video. Leave us a comment down below if you have any questions or insights. And as always, stay safe, stay inspired, and until next time, take care.